Hello. Today we're going to look at plant pots. Now when I talk about plant pots, I'm not talking about this decorative pot here we have for an indoor house plant, which is there to protect your furniture from water and soil. Notice there are no holes in the bottom of this. The pot that interests me is this one, where we put the soil and the plant. And notice there is very much a drainage hole underneath. Now, plant pots come in many forms. We have biodegradable pots, we have pots made out of cardboard, out of cellulose, out of all sorts of interesting things. But the two main ones still today are either terracotta or plastic. So I'm going to concentrate on these two. So let's take a closer look, and we'll start with the plastic pot. So we have our two types of pot here, terracotta and plastic. As I said, we're going to look at the plastic first. So what characteristics and possible advantages do we have with the plastic pot? Well, first, it's cheap to buy. Second, it's very light. You say, okay, well, terracotta is not super heavy, but if you've got to carry 10 pots like this, it's easy. But something like terracotta, it's not the same thing. Also, it's impermeable to water and air. The advantage there is when you've got a pot planted, when you water it, the water will not evaporate very easily. So you actually have to do less watering. And if you're living in a hot area, that's actually quite an important consideration. The other thing, as it's light and it's quite strong, if you drop it, it's not likely to explode into lots of little pieces. It's probably going to be okay and still usable. It's also extremely easy to clean if you like to have clean pots. The only thing is, of course, remember, when you dispose of it at the end, depending on what your municipality has in place as a system for recycling, that's something you have to consider when disposing of the plastic pot. So there, that's a little tour of our plastic pot. So now, let's take a look at the terracotta. So, over to the terracotta. Now, terracotta by nature is porous. So we're going to have an exchange of air and possibly water between the soil and the outside world, which may lead to healthier soil in the pot, but will also mean more watering. The thing I love about terracotta is this patina we get. As it ages, we have this lovely, lovely look on the outside of the pot. So the patina we have on the terracotta, on the plastic, you can look a little bit dirty, but that's it. The other thing is, when you water a pot made out of terracotta, as the soil gets wet, you'll actually see a change in colour of the terracotta itself. So it will actually show you whether the plant is well watered or not. And the discoloration, if you can call it that, the sort of darker colour, will move up the pot to show whether the plant is well watered or not. So a nice little free indicator there, which of course we don't have with the plastic. The last thing is recycling. Now terracotta we can just simply break up and use in the garden. We can put it on our paths, in our rockeries, in the soil. We can even use it to help drainage in other pots. So That's it for terracotta. So, plastic or terracotta? I personally use both. I receive a lot of plants in plastic pots and I recycle them. Now, talking about recycling, I've got a fun example here for you. This is an old kitchen bin, and when it broke, I decided to recycle it as a pot for my lovely fatsia here. So, over to you. Plastic pots, terracotta pots, recycling, and all the others. The choice is yours.